for 25 years. Your home for Minnesota Twins baseball.
Another beautiful day in the Twin Cities, and Twins fans taking advantage of both the sunshine and the recent sweet success of their team, which will try to take a series from the Royals here this afternoon. Twins take aim at KC. Ron Gardenhire turns to Kevin Correa today to take care of business on the hill. The Twins right-hander leads the team in quality starts, trying to deliver a quality win today. Kansas City will counter with their veteran, Irvin Santana, recently recorded his 100th victory in his career, enjoying a sensational month of June. 2-0 so far with a tiny ERA. Twins and Royals reach the end of the line in their 4-game series here this afternoon. Twins in position to take the series, a series that has featured some quality pitching and some great hitting as well. Let's go through some of the highlights, starting with Kansas City's Billy Butler, who has had the Twins' number for a long time.
Well, Billy Butler, Tommy, has had a lot of guys' numbers for a long time. The all-star hitter for the Kansas City Royals when he came up with a guy who hit the ball the other way primarily. Now you see him, last year he hit 29 home runs, but he's able to use the whole field now. So you really can't pitch him in any one spot. You see those pitches inside, he hit to straightaway center field. Here at Target Field for home runs. Outstanding hitter. Next, you got some guys that have swung it for the Twins, and Kluth with the 11-game hitting streak. I really like the average and the 9 RBIs during that streak. He's used the whole field and has really given Gardy some added punch right in behind your top 3 guys. And then, you know, obviously you got to take care of your home field, and the Twins have done that here in the last 17 home games. You see the record. The averages have gone up. The home runs have gone up. Pitching has been good. When you combine all that, that means a 12-5 record, and that's a good thing here at the ballpark.
There has been progress at home without question. Twins look to lock up their 11th series this season this afternoon in a mound matinee that figures to be very competitive. Up next, Dick and Bert examine the matchup. Twins and Royals, the series finale on Fox Sports North.
True North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealers today. By Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. And by South Dakota Tourism. South Dakota, your American journey begins here. Trevor Plouffe has come off the disabled list. He's been swinging a hot bat for the Minnesota Twins. He hopes to do so again today. And the Twins will hope to find a way to cool off one of the hottest hitters against them in Major League Baseball, right-handed slugger Billy Butler. Beautiful afternoon for baseball. Dick Bramer, Bert Blyleven with you for the series finale. The Twins hope to close out the month of June with a series win against the Royals. Their guy on the mound, Kevin Correa, has been good in the month of June. Kansas City's guy has been just a little bit better.
Well, he really has. Irvin Santana. This is kind of a rematch what happened back in Kansas City on April 8th when Santana beat the Twins and Kevin Correa. But in the month of June for Santana, in 5 starts, look at the earned run average. That's the best in all of baseball as far as in a month. And Santana making his 6th start. Hopefully the Twins can add to that ERA. And for the Twins this afternoon, it's Kevin Correa. He too has pitched very well in the month of June. He has been outstanding. He's been the innings eater for the Minnesota Twins this year. 11 of his 15 starts, he has pitched 6 innings or more.
Twins have built some momentum at home. They'd like to continue that with a series win. It would give the Twins a winning month of June, their first winning month of the year. special day at the ballpark, Military Appreciation Day here at Target Field. Flags all over the ballpark, and members of the military, all the branches of the military, honored before the game today.
No, we can't thank these gentlemen, women enough for their service to our country, and God bless all of them.
Twins in the middle of an 8-game homestand. Ned Yost and the Royals coming to town here. They've been above the 500 mark, got off to a 17-10 start, but right now they're just a half game ahead of the Twins. So naturally, if the Twins can win here today, win the series, finish June with a winning record, they'll finish June in third place in the division ahead of Kansas City. The Menard batting order for the Royals. Alex Gordon leading off. Alcides Escobar followed by Eric Hosmer. Billy Butler, Salvador Perez, Mike Moustakas, Lorenzo Cain, David Lowe, and just called up Johnny Giavotella. He'll bat ninth.
And it'll be Kevin Correa on the mound here this afternoon, making his 16th start, his second against the Kansas City Royals. Talked a little bit about in the open, a rematch going back to April 8th between Santana and Correa. Correa in that outing pitched 7 shutout innings, and then in the 8th inning, the Royals were able to put 3 runs on the board, and Correa and the Twins lost that ball game to Santana 3-1. But think for Kevin Correa, he has averaged 6 or more innings in 11 of his 15 starts.
Different look today in the Northland Fort defense for the Twins. Oswaldo Arcia seems to be ping-ponging back and forth between left field and right field. He's in left field today. Clete Thomas in center. Right field opened up for Chris Parmalee. Trevor Plouffe back at third. Florimone with his double play partner Eduardo Escobar this afternoon. Brian Dozier starts the game on the bench. Justin Morneau at first and Joe Mauer behind the plate. On any called third strike, you will hear and see Tom Hallion behind the plate, the most demonstrative strike 3 caller since Leslie Nielsen.
I wonder if he'll do the dance too.
Gorgeous day, absolutely gorgeous day. We've said it before, when we imagine what life would be like in an outdoor ballpark, we imagine days like this. 77 degrees. And the Twins, who've done well at home over the last few homestands, would like to finish this series with a series win. Alex Gordon in the box, and we are ready to go. Gordon takes a strike on the outside corner.
You know, Dick, you mentioned that if the Twins win today, they would end up in third place. And, the Detroit Tigers are kind of slipping a little bit. They're not playing real good baseball. So, that division tightening up a little bit in the Central Division.
Nice time for the Indians to get hot, because their hot streak coincided with a slump for the Tigers, and now the margin's just 1 game.
Right,
so
right.
It's significant. If the Twins can get into third place, then you're that much closer to maybe putting together a run like that as well. A strike called, 1-2. In the American League Central, things have tightened up between first and second, and third and fourth, and the bottom seems to be dropping out in the south side of Chicago. They are actively talking trades, the White Sox are, with some of their players. Breaking ball spun back to the net, a foul ball, 1-2, excuse me.
Well, Kevin Correa here making his 16th start. This is his 3rd career start against the Kansas City Royals, both of his previous starts in Kansas City. 0-2, he'd like to pick up his first career win against the Royals.
Check swing, 2-2.
Correa's all about changing speeds, work both sides of the plate. Not an overpowering pitcher. He relies on good defense, even though he has picked up some strikeouts over the last 4 starts. But still relies on good movement and changing speeds.
Pounded foul. This will be Correa's last start of his first half. The Twins approaching the 81 game mark, which marks the mathematical end of the first half. And for Correa, of course, we don't know what's going to happen today, but 6 wins, and you double that, and that's 12, and that's about what he's done in his prior big league seasons. An ERA a little bit better than his career mark in the National League. Just missed the outside corner, and it's a full count. Correa thought he had the corner there.
Yeah, you want to hear Tom Hallion say something right here. That looks like a pretty good pitch. And Fox Track says it just caught the corner of the black.
It did?
Yes, it did.
And Gordon draws a leadoff walk.
And that walk only the 16th in 95 innings pitched for Correa, so he has been a strike thrower. In his last game on Tuesday in Miami, he pitched a good ball game, another quality start. 9 of his 15 starts have been quality starts. Ended up getting a loss in that ball game. Twins lost 4-2. That was to a young Jose Fernandez of the Miami Marlins.
Alcides Escobar will hit for the Royals with Butler aboard. Bunt hard and foul up the third baseline.
Correa's been able to get 14 double plays turned behind him. There's Eddie Rodriguez, the third base coach, going through some signs. Rusty Kuntz over at first base, coaching for the Royals.
One strike to Escobar. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes. Escobar went through a slump. Ed Yost moved him down to the bottom of the order until he started hitting better, and now back up to where Escobar wants to hit, second in the lineup.
He had a career year last year in his second season. Now his third season with the Royals. He had 293 last year. Played 155 ball games. He stayed healthy.
He leads the team with ground ball double plays. And Tom Hallion calls it a ball. Escobar's bounced into 10 of them.
Yeah, Escobar, 26 years old, from Venezuela, in his third season with the Royals. Came over from the Brewers back in 2010 in the Zach Greinke trade.
Fouled away the way Gene Segura's been playing for the Brewers this year. If not in that trade, Escobar likely would have been dealt somewhere along the line by the Brewers. They've got a really good one in Segura, and the Royals figure that Escobar's the shortstop they will build their infield around. They hope with Moustakas and Hosmer and perhaps Giavotella. Correa got ahead of Gordon before losing him to a walk. Now 1-2 to Escobar. Inside 2-2. A lot of hopes in Kansas City this year with the acquisitions that were made, the hoped for development of some position players, reconstructed rotation. 2-2 to Escobar. Swing and a miss. Escobar strikes out. An uncommon occurrence for him. He's pretty good at putting the ball in play. Just the 35th time he struck out.
Swung at a high breaking ball right here, up in the zone. Sometimes you just swing and miss. And that's what he did right there.
Eric Hosmer's been hitting the ball well for the last week or so. I suppose if you're going to do what the Royals did about a month ago and mid-season change hitting coaches, the acquisition of George Brett and the coaching staff, it's unrealistic to think that, okay, now everybody's going to hit a switch and they're going to start hitting. It must take a while, maybe not for a different message, but a different messenger to have the results show up.
I think we've seen that with the Twins. Here in the month of June, they're hitting .261, their best month offensively, because a new hitting coach, Tom Bernansky. Everybody has their own way of teaching the game and learning the personalities of every player. George Brett comes to spring training every year. He's part of the staff in spring training, but it's not like what he's doing now. And that's more or less on a daily basis. Not as much. And they told me George isn't much of a video guy. He's more of the mental type guy.
Right.
Hey, see the ball, hit the ball, and get in some good habits, consistent habits, game after game.
1-1 to Hosmer. Picked off by Plouffe. Escobar to first, double play. So Correa issues a leadoff walk, faces just 3 men in a scoreless first inning. Here, hoping to do the same with the Yankees. Tough road trip coming up before the All-Star break. Here's his Menard's batting order in the series finale with the Royals. Clete Thomas in his usual spot in center field in the leadoff spot. Then Joe Mauer, Ryan Doman, the designated hitter. Morneau, Plouffe, and Arcia. Parmelee, Escobar, and Florimon.
And it'll be Irvin Santana on the mound. He has pitched at least 6 innings in all of his 15 starts. 105 innings pitched, 15 starts equals almost 7 innings a start. Looking for his 6th win. Very good 2.74 earned run average. Opponent's batting average only 226. Left-handers hitting only 218. Right-handers 234.
Twins seem content to let this ride for a while with Clete Thomas in center field and in the leadoff spot.
Well, this is his 11th game as a leadoff hitter for the Twins since he took over for Aaron Hicks, and he's hitting 286 out of the leadoff spot. 12 hits and 42 at-bats, and most importantly, in the 10 prior leadoff games, he's scored 9 times. And that's what you want your leadoff hitter to do. Find a way to get on and score a run.
Meanwhile, Hicks is struggling in Rochester on his rehab assignment, a rehab assignment that could be another 2 weeks longer. And Thomas on 3 pitches is retired quickly here in the first. Northland Ford defense for the Royals, and we've seen a very athletic outfield and infield in this series. Gordon, a 2-time Gold Glove winner in left. Lorenzo Cain in center. David Lowe made a couple of fine plays here the other night. Moustakas, Escobar, Giavotella, the newcomer, Hosmer at first, Salvador Perez behind the plate. Giavotella had a shot at winning the job last year and now has another shot in 2013.
Yeah, this is his 100th major league start, so he's at that point now that he has to really leave an impression to keep that job.
Nothing but strikes from Santana so far, including strike 1 to Mauer. Hitless in the series. That the Twins have won 2 of the 3 games in this series so far. Remarkable, because our cold hard fact brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Joe Mauer's played in 49 career 4-game series. He's been held hitless in just 1 of those. That earlier this year. Another called strike, 1 and 2.
0 for 11 so far in this series so far for Joe Mauer. He has drawn 3 walks.
Mauer got a piece of it to stay alive.
And Joe, great career numbers against Santana. 14 hits and 30 at-bats with a home run.
Santana's really been remarkable for the Royals. He's been everything and more that they could have hoped for when they got him from the Angels. So much focus on Shields coming over from the Rays. Bauer takes the ball. But Santana's pitched inning for inning with James Shields. He's just gotten a little bit better run support.
Yeah, not much. Not much. The Royals have had a tough time scoring runs. Only the Chicago White Sox have scored fewer runs than the Royals this year.
2-2 to Mauer. Chopper foul.
Well, there's a couple of players that have had good numbers against Santana in their career. Just spoke about Joe Mauer's success and Justin Morneau. See that combined right there. Justin with 3 home runs. He's picked up 9 RBIs in 22 at bats.
Bouncer left side. Escobar fires across. Mauer retired, 2 down. So much attention made on about who the Angels brought in over the last 2 years. First Albert Pujols a year and a half ago, and Josh Hamilton in the offseason. Maybe not enough has been made of who they decided not to bring back, and you'd have to include Santana in that, Torrey Hunter in that. I mean, they could use Irvin Santana in that rotation with the Angels right now.
Well, they went to Seattle and got Vargas, but he's out for the season.
Right. Strike one. In his media session this morning, Ron Gardenhire compared Santana to former Twin Francisco Liriano, and you can see some comparisons because one of the reasons Santana was dealt to the Royals, just terribly inconsistent. And I think the Angels just kind of got fed up with that over the years. Bouncer right side, easy play for Giavotella. And Domit's retired. And Santana faces just 3 men in the first. Here in person, we're certainly glad you are joining us on Twins television. Some news and notes. Pirates, the first team in Major League Baseball to get 50 wins.
Good for them.
Michael Kadire extending his hitting streak yesterday to 26 games.
He's been on fire.
And we will have a Triple Crown race this year. It might be Miguel Cabrera winning back-to-back Triple Crowns. It might be Chris Davis crashing his party or winning the Triple Crown on his own. Billy Butler leading off the second. And strike one. Butler, Perez, and Moustakas facing Kevin Correa. Punch to right. Playable for Parmalee, and Butler retired.
Yeah, Perez coming into today's play hitting .333. Now he's 42 points behind Miguel Cabrera, but leading in home runs, 2 behind Cabrera in that RBI department.
1 down in the second. That'll bring up Salvador Perez. Rays have an early lead on Detroit, 1-0. There's already been a response to a pitch high and tight to Cabrera yesterday. Ben Zobrist drilled in the shoulder by a pitch from Rick Porcello. Perez takes inside, 2-0.
Perez catching all 4 ball games, 5 hits and 12 at bats so far in this series, with a home run and a couple RBIs.
Hit well to left field. Arcia back at the wall, makes the catch right in front of the fence. Perez maybe out in front just a little bit. A deep fly for out number 2.
Yeah, it looked like an off-speed pitch, and Perez, as you mentioned, just out in front, just a hair. Not a bad pitch down, but Perez with that uppercut swing gets it airborne and right to the warning track.
Two down, and Mike Moustakas, the batter. I mentioned there were high hopes for the Royals this year, and so much of it based on a couple of third-year players. Moustakas at third and Hosmer at first. Now they're both swinging the bat much better. Up the line foul, but Moustakas has got a long ways to go. He's hitting .216, hit a home run the other day, his 5th. And you look at his third year, and it's been a disappointing year for him, but that made me think back to Gary Gaetti, who became a Gold Glove winner and of course a world champion with the Twins. Squirted foul off the end of the bat. Gaetti had a year kind of like Moustakas's in his third year, 1984. Gaetti, who we grew to expect 25, 30 home runs every year, had a year where it just didn't work for him. He had 5 home runs in 1984. Only drove in 65 runs. He'd hit 20-some home runs in the years before and did it every year afterward. But that one year just kind of got off to a bad start and didn't get any better. And maybe that's what Moustakas is going through.
Well, if you know Gary Gaetti, there's probably a couple injuries in there that he played through. Right. That probably caused some of that. For Moustakas, over the last 9 ball games, he's hitting at .400. 14 hits in his last 35 at bat, so he is picking it up a little bit.
That might have been the year, and I don't remember whether it was 84 or 83. That might have been the year that Gaetti was actually moved to left field. Moustakas strikes out. Maybe have a chance to talk more about that later. Correa ends the second with a strikeout. 2 hitless innings here in Target Field. Morneau will lead things off. Morneau, a rarity in most Twins lineups these days, a guy who actually has a full season of major league experience. Mauer does, Doma does, Morneau does, the starting pitcher Kevin Correa does, but we tend to forget how inexperienced this daily lineup is for the Twins. Guys like Florimon, Dozier, certainly Arcia, Parmalee, most of the regular players. Now Willingham were in the lineup, that would be a fourth, but most of the regular players do not yet have a full season in the big leagues, where they played nowhere but the major leagues. And I guess within that is the greatest source of optimism for the Twins as they hope to get to and above 500. This is largely a bunch of players who are still learning on the job at the big league level.
Well, you could throw Aaron Hicks on there too. I mean,
right.
Aaron Hicks is, kind of in his, he is in his rookie season, but yeah, I mean, the Twins are basically they're regrouping.
And Morneau takes outside, 3-1. Santana breezed through the first inning. He'll be followed by Plouffe and Arcia. And Morneau takes a 5-pitch walk. Now, just to be clear, we're not talking about service time. We're talking about a full season where someone like Trevor Plouffe was with the big league club only. Last year, Plouffe was on a rehab assignment, played a couple of games for Rochester. But in most cases, you're talking about guys like Dozier, who spent a big chunk of the year in the minor leagues last year, Parmalee. Plouffe with 3 runs batted in the game yesterday, including a 2-run home run in his first at bat. Down and away, ball 1.
Currently on an 11-game hitting streak for Trevor Plouffe.
Ron Gardenhire asked about the approach against Santana, who's pitched some awfully good ball games against the Twins. He said, got to wait and see what he does. If he's pounding the strike zone, as he did in the first inning, he's really, really tough because he gets you to chase pitches out of the strike zone. Plouffe swinging away on 2-0, fouls one away.
Yeah, he's not a big guy, about 6'2", about 185, but he can whip that baseball to the low 90s. His slider is his strikeout pitch, but he can go up the ladder with that fastball. He'll occasionally work in a slow curveball, but usually he'll come right at you. Pretty good changeup, making his 249th major league start.
Plouffe got under it, popped it up short left field. Escobar, one away.
One thing that the Royals got is a guy that usually pitches 200 innings if he stays healthy. A couple years ago, 228 innings. You take a look at his delivery. Stays on top of that baseball, meaning the release point is right on top of his fingers. He doesn't go to the side.
Oswaldo Arcia, the batter.
Won 17 ball games back in 2010 for the Angels.
Vulnerable again this year to the home run ball. You went on record yesterday on our telecast saying your record of 50 home runs allowed in a season will never be broken. Santana last year was on a pace that had he thrown as many pitches as you threw in 86?
Oh, one of those years. I believe so.
He gave up, Santana did, 39 home runs in 178 innings. So his home run per innings pitched rate was actually higher than when you set the record.
Nobody will pitch a 270 or 80 innings again.
But that's still a lot of home runs, 39 of them in less than 200 innings.
Yeah. Well, there's the innings over the last 3 years. He had a little bit of injuries last year. He made 30 starts prior to that. 33 starts each year. This year, outstanding. He's pitched even better on the road than he has at Kauffman Stadium. On the road, he comes in. This is his 8th start on the road. He's 2-2 with a 2.27 ERA. That's outstanding. Last year on the road, he was 5-6 with a 6.2. So he struggled last year on the road, but this year he's turned that around.
Arcia green lighted on 3-0, fouled it over the Royal dugout. 3-1. Fouled back again.
And sometimes a change is good. You mentioned, the Angels thought that, maybe they had enough of him. They didn't want to pick up his option, which was about $13 million. So they dealt him to the Kansas City Royals. But sometimes a change is good. And I think what we see is a young guy that needed a little bit of a change. 9-13 last year with an ERA over 5.
Full count to Arcia. Pulled foul. And similarly, since Ron Gardenhire made the comparison, that's probably what's going on with Liriano in Pittsburgh right now.
He's pitching well for the Pirates. He started last night's ball game in Pittsburgh. How about that ball that Alvarez hit into the river? My goodness, he's strong.
Full count again to Oswaldo Arcia. And a walk. And now runners at first and second with one away. Morneau going to second. You can be part of the broadcast by voting for who you think is the Arby's Value Player of the Game. Text value, a space, and the player's last name to 234-234. Let us know who you think had the most value in today's game, and we'll tell you the winner in the postgame show.
Yeah, 2 walks in this inning for Santana. It was kind of walks that hurt Wade Davis yesterday.
Chris Parmalee, the batter. Parmalee getting the start in right field. Josh Willingham getting another day off. Knee is bothering him, the left knee. There's strike one. Ryan Doumit, the designated hitter. That's just fine with Chris Parmalee, who needs at bats. Driven to right. Hard off the wall and over the head of Lowe. Coming around third, scoring is Morneau. Arcia falls down and dives back to the bag. So a double for Parmalee. Morneau scoring. And I don't know how else to put that. Arcia ended up on his arse.
He came around third, and Joe Valdra holding up his arms, and by the time Arcia saw him, he tried to hold up and just slipped and able to get back. But Parmalee, with his 9th double of the year, driving in the game's first run, hits it off the wall. Lowe goes back. He thinks about catching it, but then realizes he cannot. And now he backpedals. Ball gets behind him. And the Twins take a 1-0 lead.
Infield in, 2 men in scoring position. Escobar lines the first pitch to the second baseman, Gio Vitella, and Parmalee alertly gets back to the bag. 2 down, that'll bring up Florimo.
Yeah, they brought the infield in, and the ball hit right at the second baseman. Quick flip, but Parmalee able to get back.
Florimo swinging the bat pretty well in this series from both sides of the plate. A chance to drive in a couple of runs here if he can get a hit to the outfield. Low ball 1. And a strike that covers the inside corner. Good hitter with 2 outs and men in scoring position. Two and 1. Twins making Santana pay for some control issues here in the second inning. Pickoff to third, and Arcia gets back. We saw Perez do this with a right-handed batter the other night, throwing to first base, trying to pick off a runner, and he'll throw to second base too.
Well, with 2 outs, that's kind of a dangerous play sometimes. You have to make sure that you throw that ball to the chest of that third baseman. That being Moustakas.
Throw looked like it came pretty close to hitting Arcia
right
in the back. 2-2 to Florimon. And foul.
Santana from the Dominican Republic, Florimon from the Dominican Republic.
Strike 3. Perez looks the runner back to third, throws to first to end the inning. A leadoff walk. Most of the time they say they come around to score. That was the case here in the second. Link, your link to what's next. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. 1-0 Twins, Chris Parmalee with the RBI double. And today we're asking you in our AT&T Twitter poll, will Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak ever be broken? You can vote via Twitter to rephrase the question. Can Michael Kadire more than double his current hitting streak of 26 games?
Yes.
Twins with a 1-0 lead. Lorenzo Cain will lead off the third for Kansas City.
Well, if anybody does it, I hope it is Michael Kadire.
Yeah,
I
right.
really do. I mean, he's a class guy.
Speaking of class guys, we're happy to welcome back up here Ron Coomer.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, Mike, wouldn't that be great to have Michael do that?
Yeah, that would be great. Michael's a good man. He's a good man.
Mm-hmm.
Meant a lot to the community here, not only as a player, but also what he did off the field. And he's doing the same in Colorado.
Yeah, he's doing the same.
Expect nothing different from Michael, that's for sure.
1-1 to Cain. Correa staked to an early 1-0 lead. Breaking ball, big swing and a miss. 1-2. Speaking of former Twins, Matt Guerrero today designated for assignment by the Los Angeles Dodgers.
He had some injuries and really struggled this year.
2-2.
He's probably not making enough money. That's probably why.
Is that why?
Yeah.
He's kind of ashamed to report his $4 million salary or whatever it is.
One of the lowest on that club.
Bouncer left side. Florimon scoops it up. Safe at first. Cain beat it out. We talked about this Royal team being athletic in the field. We've seen them hustle down the line. Gerard Dyson opened up an inning for the Royals yesterday with an infield.
Well, guys that with speed like that, they smell those infield base hits. And Kane, one of those guys, you know, he hustles down that line, but Florimon had to go far to his left. And once he was able to get around that ball and put something on it, Kane just beat it out. First hit of the ball game for the Royals.
Yeah, you see where Florimon had to go to the outfield grass to catch that ball, and momentum taking him to right field. You just don't get as much on the throw.
David Lowe showed some athleticism in the field, in right field the other night. And Correa takes or delivers strike one.
That play 2 nights ago, that's kind of the story of the game. If that ball gets in, it turns into a 2-run game, and Florimon hit and changes the whole complexion of the game. He makes that catch, and then the game gets out of hand the next inning.
1 strike to David Lowe. Now outside 1-1. The Royals designated for assignment Jeff Francoeur yesterday. Veteran outfielder, great throwing arm, had one really good year with Kansas City, struggled the last year and a half.
Well, David Lowe has come up and kind of taken his spot out in right field.
1-2. Francoeur designated for assignment. Giavotella called up. The Royals were carrying 5 outfielders, and Ned Yost had a tough time getting playing time for everybody. It's one of those deals I would imagine for Francoeur, a veteran player. His playing time was cut back, and they kept waiting for him to hit, but they kept restricting the number of at-bats he was getting.
He'll end up somewhere.
Well, punch to right, and that's going to be a base hit. And rounding second, going to third is Kane, and Lowe heading for second, and the ball overthrown. Parmalee wound up and fired it about 8 feet over the head of Florimon. So Lowe drops a double down the right field line, and the Royals have a threat here with nobody out.
Yeah, good hustle. Again, you see some speed in that lineup, and that being the hitter right here, Lowe. Kane going from first to third. The ball hitting softly, and then Lowe aggressively runs into at second base, but Parmalee, who's usually very accurate, overthrows it. But Trevor Plouffe there to back it up.
Giavotella in his first at bat after his call up. In a big spot, second and third, nobody out. Twins playing the infield back. Parts of 2 years with the Royals, 11 and 12. Coming into this year, 359 at bats, hitting .242 with very little power.
Yeah, he's got 3 major league home runs. He's hitting well down in Omaha. Currently was on a streak, but he hit .287 in Omaha.
Got a job to do right here. Didn't have a very good swing at the first one, looking to pull that ball instead of trying to hit it the other way.
Now 2 strikes.
See him looking to hook that ball. That's a pitch. If you hit that ground ball to second base, you got a chance of getting a base hit. But now you score a run and get the guy low. That's on second base to third.
That's all you're trying to do right here is hit it up the middle, past the pitcher.
Pass the pitcher to the right side. You got an RBI. You're helping your team. Those are little things that, you know, these teams that are struggling to get back to 500 need to have happen.
2 strikes to Giavotella. Up high.
Correa would like a strikeout right here. He's picked up 2 already.
Yeah, you hit that ground ball to second. As Bert said, you get a run in, and he set up Gordon with an easy RBI. Twins are probably going to play the infield back for him. See what Correa can do to get out of this third inning mess.
Well, tried to go up the ladder on that one that he was 0-2 to see what he does right here. Does he go to that slider?
Headed up the middle, backhanded. Escobar with a throw, and another infield hit for the Royals.
That's exactly what you talked about, Ron. You know, Correa went with the slider, and Giavotella just went with it towards second base. Great effort by Escobar, but again, the speed of the Royals.
They see the slider down and away. Look at that. What a great teaching tool to have that camera with slow-mo. But that's what you're looking for as a hitter. So that pitch selection really gives the hitter a great chance to do exactly what he's trying to do. and that's hit that ball the other way.
Alex Gordon, the batter. Pitch rolled foul off a foot.
Well, I think what we saw in Giavatello, which was a good thing, is that he kind of cut down his swing a little bit from the 2 previous big swings that he took.
Yeah, the first
2 strikes, he cut it down and got the ground ball and got rewarded with the infield base hit.
2 hitless innings for Correa, and now he's greeted in the 3rd by 3 straight hits, 2 of them infield hits. One and one.
As a hitting coach, Kevin Seitzer down there, and George Brett, they'll talk to him about his approach in the first 2 swings. Unless they're telling their guys, go ahead up there and let her rip and take your chance on driving in both runs. The approach he had the first 2 swings was not to try to get the runner over and in.
Up and away, 2-1. Got a double play grounder in the first inning. High and deep to center. Thomas going back and making the catch right in front of the wall. Tagging and scoring from 3rd is Lowe. Retreating to first is Giavatello. It's 2-1 Kansas City.
Boy, you love to see center fielders that do that. He put his head down and ran right back toward the wall, turned around right at the warning track and picked up the ball. Good job by Thomas.
Our carsoup.com/baseball question today coming from Moorhead, Minnesota. Greg wondering what we've seen as improvements from the Twins pitching staff recently.
I think the biggest thing is that the starters have gone deeper into the ball game, which has taken about an inning off of that bullpen. So all in all, starting staff, bullpen, one of the best in the American League, if not all of baseball. A little more aggressive in the strike zone. Defense has been better behind a starting staff that doesn't strike out a lot. So you need good defense. Thomas right there made a great play on that high, deep fly ball off the bat of Gordon.
Escobar struck out his first time. 1 strike here in the 3rd inning. Well, part of the improvement in the pitching staff can be directly traced, I think, to the predicted improvement for Mike Pelfrey. Pelfrey expectedly struggled in April, was a little bit better in May, and he's currently on the disabled list. But Pelfrey gave the Twins some good starts. Samuel DeDuno wasn't even with the rotation.
I was going to say,
in April.
Even though P.J. Walters has struggled a little bit, over his last 3 starts prior to that, I mean, him and DeDuno came up and they kind of solidified that starting rotation a little bit.
Escobar called out on strikes.
Correa getting Escobar for the 2nd time.
Taking more than a full run off the ERA up to May 26th and in the month or so following.
Yep, and that's right about the time that DeDuno and Walters joined the staff. And DeDuno's been outstanding. Of course, P.J. Walters looking to improve from his last couple outings.
And everybody waiting for tomorrow's starter, Scott Diamond, to pitch to the form that he did last year.
Right.
Ball 1. Hosmer bounced into a double play in the 1st inning.
Correa has been consistent. He'll usually get you 5 innings. That's the least amount of innings. Excuse me, he went 4 back against the Atlanta Braves. But he's usually good for 6 or 7.
When he throws a lot of strikes, and to me, that keeps his pitch count down. He keeps you in the ball game. So one thing Gardy can count on, is him going deeper in a game because he's been consistent. He knows what his plan is and he's able to execute.
I liked what he said, like this inning right here. You're going to go out the first 2 innings, 27 pitches. He had a 17-10 pitch inning, 17 in the first, 10 in the second. You're going to have innings that you're going to struggle. It's how you get out of that inning and then hopefully carry it into the next one to where it's a better inning.
Lofted to the left. And Arcia comes in to end the inning. The inning starts with 3 hits. The Royals get a couple of runs and take the lead.
Third, and the Twins will try to answer. Well, Ervin Santana has been one of the best in the bigs in the month of June, and the Twins are well aware of that. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Ron Gardenhire compared him to Francisco Liriano. He said they are friends off the field, and they really do the same thing on the field. They do a good job of making you chase. Now, Gardy says we cannot chase if we're going to have a chance. We need to pay attention to whether he's hitting his spots and then make adjustments from there. So the Twins already doing a good enough job of getting the bat on the ball in the second. Dick and Bert will see if they make some further adjustments here in the third.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. Thing about Santana is he's got a winning record at the major league level. 101 wins, 85 losses. The guy that has 14 complete games, 7 career shutouts. Those all coming with the Angels. Good hard slider there, down and in.
1-2 to Clete Thomas. He'll be followed by Joe Mauer and Ryan Doman. Thomas struck out swinging on 3 pitches to start the ball game. And Santana gets him again, 1 away.
Strikeout number 3 for Santana.
Let's get caught up as to what's happened so far here today.
Well, the Twins got a run on the board thanks to Chris Parmley's double. It scored a run, Justin Morneau. But the Royals came right back in the top of the third. A couple runs scored. Sacrifice fly off the bat of Gordon. Gave him a 2-1 lead. As Lowe scored.
Ball 1 to Mauer. Grounded to short his first time up. Still hitless in the series. Strike on the outside corner.
You know, sometimes you look at Santana. I look at Pedro Martinez, excuse me. Yeah, just lost it. But, you know, with his follow through the way, and Martinez wasn't very big as far as, you know,
stature, right? Yeah.
You know, he's got a nice delivery. He really allows that arm to come through. I like to follow through. I always think of Brad Radke allowing that arm to come through, and then your momentum takes you toward that first baseline. No recoil in his delivery to put added stress on that right shoulder.
2-1 to Mauer, and a drive to left. Gordon over and back makes the catch out number 2. Coming Coming up in July, baseball's greatest stars gather for the biggest event of the summer. The Midsummer Classic returns to New York. This time at Citi Field. Home field advantage for the World Series on the line. It's the 2013 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Live from New York, July 16th, only on Fox.
In Jamie's piece, when she was talking about Santana and Lariano being friends, to me, when you talk about Lariano and the inconsistencies that he's had through his career, I think that's the biggest thing, is that recoil where he'd land, and then he'd come backwards towards the rubber. And I just never could understand how you think you could be consistent with your arm angle and your release point if you're moving backwards from the target you're throwing at.
Right. Whereas Santana does a good job of the follow through. You're going to have better control if you can do what, say, Ratke does, or even Santana right here. You see that right leg come over the landing left leg. That's what you want. You want full extension toward home plate.
The worst I saw, of course, was Eric Milton for the Twins. Eric had a terrible recoil. 2-1 to Doman with 2 gone in the Twins' third. 3-1, Morneau on deck.
Let's take a look at some of the follow through of Santana. Now he releases the ball there, but the arm whips through. I like his hip. Now his right hip will come over his left leg and then go toward first base.
You see his shoulder and everything just continuing through the pitch.
Third walk issued by Santana, and Morneau will have a chance with a man aboard.
Unlike Santana, that's 3 walks. He came into the ballgame with only 18 walks in 105 innings. So a little bit of control problems here early in the ballgame.
Last inning, it looked like he just lost command of the fastball away. He was throwing pretty good in the first, and then, he was trying to throw that 2-seamer away to the left-handers and just lost command of hitting that corner with the fastball.
Fouled away, 1 strike.
Yeah, 6 times this year, and again, Santana's averaged 7 innings an outing. Santana 6 times this year did not walk a batter in a ball game. There's what I'm talking about right there. Watch the right foot come over the left foot. That allows that arm to get even closer toward home plate.
Lifted to short center. Kane has to rush in now and make the catch to end the inning. 2-out walk does no damage. It's 2-1 Kansas City. Members of the military who serve by letting them participate in the flag raising, but today it's Armed Forces Appreciation Day, and all of them here in attendance here today are our Pepsi fans of the game.
So many great signs of loved ones that were lost throughout the years serving our country, and the fans' standing ovation appreciating everybody that has served our country. Thank you.
Billy Butler will lead off the fourth for Kansas City against Kevin Correa. So many wonderful things about this ballpark, but one of them for me is the pregame ceremony where members of the military cradling and clutching the flag that they will later raise on the flagpole here. It's just such an emotional experience for the other fans here. And you can imagine what it's like for the members of the family to participate in that. 2-0 to Butler. He'll be followed by Perez and Moustakas.
God bless America.
Fouled back. The Twins have finally gotten Butler's season average against the Twins. Oh, 500.
What a great catch. Yes, he did.
What an effort.
He's not in the same row. He's got to step over to get back into his row. But
I think the Royals just found another fifth outfielder.
Did we get this? Yes, we did. He reaches up, takes a tumble, but holds on to it.
Jeff Francoeur in the audience here today. Down low, 3-1 to Butler. Royals got 3 hits and 2 runs at the very beginning of the third inning.
Butler currently on a 17-game hitting streak during the against the Twins, dating back to last year, and he draws a walk. First walk by Kevin Correa.
Twins tickets remain available and affordable. A summer's worth of good times at Target Field, so don't miss the fun. Check out the Steal of the Week and demand-based pricing for great deals on single-game purchases all season long. These and other special deals available every day of the week at twinsbaseball.com/tickets or by calling 833-TWINS. Fly ball right center field, hanging in the air for Parmalee, but carrying out near the track, and it's Thomas on the track who makes the catch. Looking at the flags that we just referenced, they are blowing out towards right field, and that ball had a lot more carry than I thought it did.
Well, Parmalee went after it, then he heard Thomas calling him off, so he came back toward the infield.
One down, Butler still at first. Correa gave up 3 hits to 3 fast runners in the third inning. This is a different situation entirely. He's walked Butler. The Royals don't have any speed at all on the bases. One down, and Moustakas will bat. One strike to Moustakas. We were talking about former Twins, Matt Guerrero, designated for assignment. Boof Bonser signed a minor league deal with the Indians today. I had thought he was out of the game for a couple of years, but the Indians, looking for some starting pitching help, may end up having Boof Bonser as part of their rotation.
He had some arm trouble and back trouble. And
fouled away, 1-2. Former Royal Kyle Davies is trying to resurrect his career in the Twins organization, pitching down in the Gulf Coast League. Had a good outing yesterday. 1-2 to Moustakas, who went down swinging in the second. Cracked to left, a pitch up and away from him, and he whacked it into left field for a base hit. Butler to second base. Play of the day so far turned in by Jamie Hirsch's guest.
Absolutely. I'm here with David, who made the trip from Kansas City to see his Royals play and came up with a heck of a catch. Walk me through that play.
Well, I just saw it, and I was worried about the cloud. There's not enough clouds out there, so I thought I'd lose it. But I stayed with it, and I was just trying to keep my girls from getting hit, and it took me back a row.
A defensive dad, and you said that you used to play ball. You still got it.
My wife won't agree with you, but I think I've got something. So.
Well, that was a great catch. Thanks for being here.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, those women, they always tell the truth.
He's got a ball. I don't know anything else.
You know, it's one thing that's been noticeable here. We've talked at length over the years about Twins fans going to Kansas City. And now, because this is a weekend series here in Minnesota, we've seen some more Kansas City fans here than we normally saw. Just missing the inside corner to Kane, 1-1. So the Royals for years always thank those Twins fans for spending their money in Kansas City, so we better thank the Kansas City fans for spending their money in Minnesota.
Yeah, I live downtown. Just coming to the ballpark, you see a lot of Kansas City apparel just walking the streets.
1-1. Blocked by Mauer. There are a lot of issues with this year's schedule, but one of the things that I just find hard to believe, we play in Kansas City, 3 series, of course. They're all midweek series, every last one of them, which really discourages Twins fans. Either have school or work or both. It's hard to make a trip to go see the Twins in Kansas City when it's during the week. 2-1 to Kane. Breaking ball, and it's hit a ton. It's down the line.
Oh, foul.
And it is foul, and not by much. Kane looked like he tried to do a little Carlton Fisk there down the line. He hit it plenty far.
Well, you talk about lock and load, Ron. Watch this swing right there. Oh.
That's just a hanging breaking ball that didn't do much. That slider left the bat and just missed the flagpole. That was the driver.
2-2.
Don't throw that again.
They're the same pitch, but down and away.
And it's down and away, but it fills the count with Lowe on deck. That's the type of swing you see every year when they bring in the slow pitch softball guys and hammer them into the upper deck here at Target Field.
He did a hard enough time just staying on his feet after a swing that hard.
Full count to Kane. Foul back. Royals out hitting the Twins 4-1. The only Twins hit an RBI double off the bat of Parmalee. Royals strung 3 hits together, scored a couple in the third, another threat after the leadoff walk here in the fourth.
Yeah, Kane started that third inning rally with that infield base hit up the middle.
Popped up, short center. Thomas coming in and making the catch. He's all over the place. He went back near the fence to catch one. Now he had to rush in to catch that one.
Yeah, a lot of times that's a second baseman's type of ball, but Thomas calling Escobar off. He got out of the way, so Thomas kind of being a ball hog right now out in center field.
Well, and that's kind of his job, to be the ball hog. It's for the center fielder. He gets the right of whatever he can get to. He's supposed to call. He did a very good job of going into right center, making the catch. The ball at the warning track that Gordon hit in his last at bat. And it's a much easier play for the center fielder to come in to catch that ball than the infielder to go out and try to catch that ball. So Thomas done a very good job defensively in center field since Gardy has put him out there.
Up and away to David Lowe. Just kind of chunked one down the right field line and hustled his way into a double.
Yeah, he fought off a pitch middle in that he just fought off and hit that little flare down that right field line.
After a high pitch, a swing and a miss, 1-1.
Yeah, with them designated Francoeur for assignment. I mean, with David Lowe, 27 years old, Francoeur, I believe, was 34. Miguel Tejada, the oldest Royal, but really a pretty young ball club.
Young ball club, athletic, as you were saying last inning when we were watching them run the bases. You know, and in the ballpark in Kansas City is a lot like this one, where it's a big ballpark, big spacious outfield. Speed is is needed.
It's a necessity.
It absolutely is, and you can see the Royals have done a good job of getting some of that in their lineup.
And when they were good in the 70s, as we said the other day, speed a big part of the Royals lineup, both in the infield and the outfield. 1-2 to Lowe. Correa trying to pitch out of a 4th inning jam. Off the plate, 2-2.
Well, Lowe, a kid that spent 6 years in the minor league system for the Royals, now getting a chance. He was a September call-up last year, about 300 minor league hitter, getting the opportunity.
Ooh, just off the plate. Tom Hallion has only given us one called third strike call today, and he came close to giving Correa and the Twins another one there.
Yeah, a little cutter trying to clip that corner and outside.
Runners will go. Important because Butler doesn't run well at second base. He'll get an early start here with a full count. Down the right field line and deep. Lowe will have another hit. Banging one off the wall. The throw going to second base. And the throw now to the plate. Safe. Parmalee, instead of hitting the cutoff man, everything was lined up properly. He fired to second. And that allowed the second Kansas City run to score.
Yeah, a little mistake right there by Parmalee. You want to throw that ball, I would think, Ron, back toward Justin Morneau at first base.
Yeah, Escobar was coming down the right field line to be the cutoff man, and then Justin is the second guy in line. Escobar was in the right spot, as you see him here, expecting that throw. Parmalee throwing that ball to second, thinking he might have a chance to get an out. But because the runners are going on the pitch, he threw to the wrong base or the wrong place, and it ends up being 2 runs for the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, good throw by Florimon. If that throw was down a little bit, Maurer had to go up for it. That ball's down a little bit, say around, knee high. Joe could probably drop that shin guard into home plate. Instead, he had to go get it, and that allowed Moustakas to dive in and get his hand on the plate.
Big 2-out, 2-run double for David Lowe. Now Giavotella drives up, base hit to right center, left center field. Lowe will score, and it's a 5-1 ball game.
Well, Giavotella just getting called up, and he responds with 2 hits in his first 2 at bats, picking up his first RBI. Excuse me, his second RBI of the ball game.
And the Royals getting some big 2-out hits here in the 4th. Lowe driving in a pair with a double, misplay in the field. And on the first pitch, Giavotella has his second hit and second run batted in.
Quick trip to the mound by pitching coach Rick Anderson. Giavotella jumping on that first pitch, squaring it up very nicely.
See his eyes track that ball to the bat. He's got a very short swing, short comeback
stocky guy too, 5'8", about 190.
Well, we've talked about it a lot through this season. Little things that you have to do to win ball games, and you see the bottom of the lineup for the Kansas City Royals, 5 for 6 with 4 RBIs. But not only that is the situational hitting that they've done to be able to score these runs with runners in scoring position and less than 2 outs.
On the left field line, chased by Plouffe near the tar, makes a nice catch. Trevor Plouffe on the warning track ends the inning. The Royals do some 2-out damage and now lead 5-1.
Parmalee about that play, about where to throw, Ron, and you know you've been out there before, and Parmalee do wrong. I mean, he saw a low, stretch that single into a double in his first at bat, and Parmalee came up and said, "I'm going to get him this time."
Well, the bottom line is you got to understand the situation. You had runners moving with 3 and 2 outs, so the ball hit in the corner. You know that guy in first base is going to get a big lead, so you know you've got to throw the ball home. You got to throw the ball in front of the runners. There, he threw the ball to second base, and that's great if there's nobody on base, but you have to keep the ball in front of the runners to try to stop that run from scoring. And Parmalee just reacted to making a clean play off the wall with 1 out, but just threw the wrong base.
Plouffe, Arcia, and Parmalee trying to get 1 or 2 back here in the bottom of the 4th.
We have seen Parmalee he's done a great job of playing right field.
Strike called, 1 and 2. Plouffe popped up to short his first time up. Twins had some chances against Irvin Santana, or a chance to drive in more than 1 run in the second inning. That's cut off by Moustakas on the first hop. Over to Hosmer, 1 away. Sanford Health injury report. Josh Beckett of the Dodgers going to have season-ending surgery to relieve pressure on a nerve in his neck. The Dodgers are just starting to get a little traction in the National League West. Doesn't look like they'll be getting any help at all this year from Josh Beckett.
Yeah, Dodgers, even though they are 6 games under 500, they're only 5 games behind the Diamondbacks in the National League Western Division.
Arcia drew a walk his first time up. And he takes down and away, ball 1. Haven't been many offers for Arcia. He had one yesterday and then gets a base hit as he smashes one over the reach of Hosmer. A 1-out single for Arcia.
Pretty good timing right there, Dick.
I think one of the reasons he hasn't had many offers is he seems to put the barrel on the bat on him more than you'd expect a rookie player to do.
He's a very aggressive hitter, and that's a good changeup by Santana. But because he stays with his swing and to the ball and through the ball very well, you see his front shoulder staying closed and going towards the pitcher. That's how he's able to stay on a lot of those breaking pitches and changeups that Santana just threw him.
Parmalee with an RBI double. Left field line, twisting foul, 1 strike.
He's a guy in batting practice that I watch once in a while too, and even in batting practice, ball away, he'll just hit it that way. Something inside, he'll turn on it. And I guess you practice like you did, Ron, too. That balls constantly away, you take it that way.
Right, you do. And what the big key, and hitting coach Tom Bernansky is working on these guys to keep their approach to the middle of the field. Then if the ball's in, you can drop the head of the bat on it and drive it for Arcia to right. But so many times we've seen Morneau get pitched away, and now he's using left field in his repertoire regularly, and his RBI totals just keep climbing. I really like the swing of Arcia.
My apologies to you, Ron, for the difficulty of this question, but it's been on my mind, and I think on the minds of a lot of Twins fans. Is it possible that the Metrodome, the ballpark the Twins played in, could develop bad habits in a hitter?
In what sense are you asking?
The artificial turf,
no.
The ball carrying maybe unnaturally to center field, and the opposite field. Here's a ball skied to center, should be played by Kane. I mean, there are hitters who played in the Metrodome. Delman Young, maybe even Michael Kadire would be among them, that have had a tough time transitioning to this ball.
Well, the one thing the Metrodome did do is it gave you a false sense of when you hit the ball on the ground, it scooted through the infield so quick. And you really don't want to, as a bigger guy, you want to elevate the baseball. And you really got rewarded for it in the Metrodome, and I think that's to your point. Where here, I think in Target Field, you really have to be a well-rounded hitter to be successful here at Target Field. You have to use the whole field. If you constantly play the ball to the middle, you might get some base hits through the middle, but you really got to hit one with some thunder to hit it out of the ballpark and straightaway center field.
I mean, let's take, former MVP Joe Mauer. In 2009, the last year at the Metrodome, he had 28 home runs. When he came here, I think we saw that first year the frustration of Joe hitting the ball the same distance to left field that were home runs at the Dome that became outs here. Now Joe has kind of adapted to this field, I think, over the last couple of years.
Well, Joe's not a big home run type guy, and he hit a lot of his home runs to left center field and left field. And you'd see him at the Dome. A lot of them would land in the first, second, third, fourth row.
Off the glove of Hosmer, and Giavotella there to pick up the rebound. Twins hit some balls hard against Santana in the fourth, but the Royals still lead it 5-1.
Inside the Minnesota Lottery winner's circle with a very creative Circle Me Bert sign. We mustache you a question, Bert. Will you circle us? And so Mary and Margaret, very clever. I got to ask you, how'd you come up with these incredible mustache theme signs?
Actually, my younger sister gave us the idea off of the Big Bang Theory. We must ask you a question.
Oh, well, that's very clever. I'm sure Bert will love it. We're going to give you $100 worth of Minnesota Lottery tickets for your time.
Great. Thank you so much.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And you are hereby circled.
Escobar gone on the first pitch, one down in the fifth.
Yeah, Escobar struck out the first 2 times up. He's not fooling around. He's just going to jump on that first pitch off of Kevin Correa. And Correa's pitch count a little bit on the high side, 76 pitches, starting here the 5th inning right now.
Well, his last couple innings have been tough on him. Last inning, couple blue pits, and then with 2 outs, you get the ball off the wall, and that extended his pitch count quite a bit.
Well, it's always that leadoff walk, too. The Twins against Santana, the leadoff walk in the 2nd inning of Justin Morneau created a run. The leadoff walk of Billy Butler last inning created a run and a bigger inning for the Royals.
Hosmer fouls it, 2 strikes.
I don't know why that is. I know Gene Mauch, when Mauch was the manager under me, when I was with him in '76, he did not like leadoff walks whatsoever. I mean, he always said, it seems like 70% of leadoff walks always score, rather than sometimes just a base hit.
You mentioned that before. You almost make it sound like he would have preferred a leadoff double than a leadoff one.
Maybe a leadoff hit.
Yeah.
Make the guy swing the bat. Make him earn his way on, especially that, as a starting pitcher, you think, every inning you go out there, get the first out. So much easier if you get that first guy out.
Florimone gets the broken bat line drive and out number 2. Twins fans, join your favorite players and hang with the majors. August 1st at Toby Keith's in St. Louis Park. Hang with the majors, a fun informal event that benefits the Minnesota Military Family Foundation. Go to twinsbaseball.com/community. or call 612-659-3426 for more information. Just another tentacle of the Twins Community Fund, and that triggers a thought for me. Last night, after the Twins game, I saw an American Legion game in Osseo, northwest suburb of the Twin Cities, and they had brand new lights on their field. And the field in Osseo is a nice field to begin with, but it got some renovation work. Correa deflects it. Florimo can't barehand it, and Butler will get an infield hit.
Florimo's mistake right there. He had plenty of time to glove that ball because who was running? And Butler will get a base hit. Now he'll have an 18-game career hitting streak against the Twins, dating back to last year. Tried to do too much with this. Correa knocks it down, and then Florimo tries to barehand it when he had plenty of time to get it in his glove and still get Butler, who was still about halfway to first base when he dropped the ball.
Infield hit for Butler. That'll bring up Salvador Perez. At any rate, the field in Osseo has some great new lights provided by some grant money from the Twins Community Fund. And I know there are fields all over the 5-state area that have benefited from the Twins Community Fund, the Fields for Kids program, and all that. So my tip of the cap to the Twins for enhancing a baseball field in Osseo, Minnesota. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Well, to your story, I was involved with the All-Star Series, Minnesota High School Coach Association All-Star Series 2 weekends ago, and the Twins were very involved. Play Ball Minnesota and the Twins Community Fund, and they donated a bunch of money to making that series bigger and better. And Twins just do a lot of community service and a lot of promoting of young baseball players here in our state.
1-2 to Salvador Perez, who's hit a warning track fly ball to left and a fly ball to center. A 2-run third, a 3-run fourth, and right now the Royals in control of this game, 5-1. All 5 runs, earned runs against Correa's ledger. Breaking ball off the plate, 2-2.
Yeah, that kind of ties a season high in earned runs allowed by Correa. The other time he gave up 5 runs was that 4-inning outing in Atlanta.
Full count, and again Butler will leave early from first base. He was at second base when David Lowe hit that 2-run double.
Well, in Correa, you know, it doesn't look like he's really been in a lot of trouble. I mean, I think he's given up 4 infield hits out of the 7 hits. So he's pitched pretty well. He's been kind of unlucky.
A walk to Perez. And the Royals will be in position again with a 2-out threat here, sending Moustakas to the plate.
I think David Lowe, you know, that little blooper down the right field line that he got the double, but then he knocked in a run with that double, or 2-run double in the 4th inning. Hit that ball hard. Ryan Presley starting to loosen up.
See the pitch count elevated. And Correa hoping to get through the 5th.
Yeah, the 3rd and 4th inning, 23-25, 13 so far. The first couple went nicely. Got the big double play off the bat of Hosmer to end the first. A 1-2-3 second, but then the 3rd and 4th innings were struggles for Correa.
Popped up a foul ball that'll reach the seats. I started to tell a story in Moustakas' first at bat in the 2nd inning. I'll try to wrap it up as quickly as I could. I talked about Gary Gaetti's 3rd year with the Twins and how he just mysteriously couldn't hit the ball over the fence. And in one of those years, and I believe it was the prior year, 1983, Twins were trying to accommodate John Castino's return from back surgery and let Castino play at 3rd base. And for a brief time, part of a year, Gary Gaetti was moved to left field, which seems implausible now. I mean, Gary became one of the best fielding 3rd basemen. In fact, a 3-time Gold Glove Award winner, I believe. But the Twins, for a while, moved him to the outfield. 1 strike to Moustakas and a pop-up. Florimone back. And he makes the catch to end the inning. This time the Royals don't get it. a 2-out hit, but they lead 5-1.
Well, Twins down by 4. Rick Anderson talking to Kevin Correa with 90 pitches. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
And Florimone on the first pitch. Spanks a single to right field. Twins need to answer here. They scored the first run of the game. The Royals 5 unanswered runs. And now the number 9 batter has a first pitch single. That'll get Thomas to the plate.
Well, 3 walks in the ball game for Santana. That's the only third hit that he has given up to the Twins. Thomas has struck out a couple times against Santana, who has 3 strikeouts in the ball game.
Thomas swinging and missing, and there have been a lot more of that over the last couple of games. Thomas has struck out twice today, 4 times in his last 5 at bats.
Well, they've been throwing Thomas down and in, and they've been throwing some sliders and some changeups that have been coming down, and he's been over the top of all of them. See if he can take a couple of these pitches that are down and out of the strike zone.
That's where Perez is sitting, inside.
Thomas lifts it high and deep to right. A home run for Clete Thomas.
Or just hit it out of the park.
His 3rd of the year, and it cuts the Royal lead in half. 15th home run of the year allowed by Irvin Santana.
You were talking about he's sitting inside with that slider, and that slider kind of hung right there. And Thomas, second time in this 4-game series, Thomas has hit a home run. Hit one here on Friday night against Shane Shields.
Well, they wanted that ball down and in. They left it in the middle of the plate. Thomas made them pay.
Strike at the knees to Mauer. Thomas describes himself as a gap-to-gap hitter, but we've seen him pull 3 home runs. Mauer hitting it right to the shortstop. Escobar sets and fires, and incredibly, Mauer still hitless in this series. 1 down.
You see the home run from Thomas in the Phantom cam, and you see his eyes track this ball. You see him trying to pull them hands in because he's been getting pitched inside, down and in, and really trying to get his hands through the hitting zone, doing a very good job on that slider by Santana. and driving it into the right field seats for a home run.
Boy, that's great concentration, too. Love that camera, the way that you focus in on the contact with your eyes right on that ball.
But I love the Phantom Cam too, but doesn't it make it look a lot easier to play baseball? Whether you're throwing or hitting or running.
We know differently, don't we?
Oh, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Two 2-0 to Doman. One gone in the fifth.
I think we're
up the middle.
Yeah.
Bobbled. And Escobar will commit his 10th error of the year. And Doman survived a sprint down the line. He's aboard with one out.
Yeah, ball kind of came up on him in the last second. Anything up the middle going that direction, you're always wondering, can it hit the second base bag?
Yeah, that ball hit right in the lip. And Doman, you see this ball coming up on Escobar.
Well, watch here. He has plenty of time to barehand it. We went a little bit further. Then he lost the handle of the ball when he tried to barehand it.
Morneau takes a strike on the outside corner.
See if the Twins can take advantage of the extra out here.
Doman doing a good job hustling down that line with sore ankle that he's tried to come back and make it through to the All-Star break and then give him a couple days off.
I asked him before the game Friday, I said, how's it feel? He said, it only hurts when he runs. And of course, that's what he had to do. And got through his game behind the plate catching. Was held out of the lineup yesterday. 1-1 to Morneau. To left field. Hit right at Gordon. A little bit of a retreat near the track. Out number 2. And that'll bring up Plouffe. Set your compass due north Thursday nights on Fox Sports North. Join hosts Bill Shirk and Laura Schara as they take a look at the stories and adventures of outdoor enthusiasts in the upper Midwest. Due North Outdoors Thursdays at 6 only on Fox Sports North, including this Thursday, which happens to be the 4th of July. And where are we going on the birthday of the United States? We're going to Canada. At least some of us are.
I'll be in Canada. Dick, you're going to Canada?
I'm going to Canada.
I'm staying here.
Where?
I will be here.
What?
And then I'll go to Florida.
That explains why you're going.
I'll be in the United States.
Yep.
He has it in his contract. He is not leaving the United States, going to Canada.
There might be a reason, too.
Well, that goes back a long time ago, but one strike to Plouffe. Tying run at the plate. Chopper left side. Moustakas has it go off his glove into short left field. Doman's going to think about it and then decide to get back to second base. And I would imagine for somebody who's got a sprained left ankle, rather than running, stopping running and retreating might be a bit of a painful adventure.
Yeah, that's where you're usually hurt. If you have an ankle injury or foot, it's not running, it's trying to slow down. And this is a really tough in-between hop for Moustakas at third base. And Doman rounding second base. Easy, Rhino. Still need you in this lineup.
That'll be a second error of the inning. They give Moustakas an error. That'll be his 10th of the year.
It gets Arcia to the plate with the tying run at first. And Arcia has reached twice against Santana already. A walk out as far as third base in the second, and then a single through the hole through the right side of the fourth.
That's a tough error on Moustakas. If you watch that ball, he had to go hard to his left and back and got really a major in-between bounce.
I wish
and you just kind of throw your glove out there and hope it jumps in there. Is about the best you got.
Also would have kept Trevor Plouffe's hitting streak alive.
Well, they had 44 more to go to catch Joe.
Yeah.
Outside ball one.
Well, you have to start somewhere.
This is not a guy the Royals want to face with the lead at stake. Arcia has been swinging the ball, swinging the bat very well since his call up earlier this month. Headed up the middle, through for a hit. Doman's going to try it around third and head home. Kane flips it back in, and Arcia drives in a run with a single.
Well, the Twins do take advantage of the couple errors here by the Royals and make it a 5-4 ball game. Garcia with his second hit, driving in his 24th run. With that shift of the second baseman pulled toward right field. Big hole up the middle, and Garcia hits it through.
Tying run now at third.
Both of Garcia's hits have come off changeups, and he's really stayed on the ball against Santana really well. The ball he hit past first baseman Hosmer was a bullet, and that changeup floating down and away from him, that he stayed through the middle and got him another hit.
Parmalee with a hot ground ball, backhanded by Giavotella, one of the hardest hit balls of the inning. It's the final out of the inning, but the Twins jump back in the game with a 3-run inning, 2 of them scoring on a Clay Thomas home run. Light, focusing on Clay Thomas's 2 home runs in this series.
Pretty good swings, and look at the compression of the baseball. Thomas's head staying right down. That's today. Friday night, same pitch, just about a little lower, but a great swing by Thomas.
You know, we showed that freeze cam the other day of Billy Butler's home run, and I'm still surprised the compression of that baseball.
And I guess when we saw that the other night, one of the things I thought of was, you can imagine then, from time to time, it's been alleged that the baseballs are wound tighter and they're, harder and more tightly wound. Well, it would stand to reason then that if you increase the compression or whatever, that the balls would travel further. Knocked down by Ryan Presley, and Kane has a hit taken away from him. Kane compressed that ball, but so did Billy Butler here the other night.
I mean, look at that right there. That was that 3-run home run to straightaway center.
I think you call that denting the ball, don't you? Yeah, that one only went 420 to straightaway center field.
So, all right, he's using a black bat there, right?
Well,
and so somebody caught the ball, or if they did, he hit it to center field. But you catch the baseball, sometimes you'll see a black smudge on the ball, and that's the paint from the bat, right?
That's correct. Yep. Most of the time, if you see a ball smudged black, it's usually on a ball that you don't square up, but you foul off or you slice, and the ball kind of just deflects off the bat. You don't really compress it. That, I don't know if there's going to be a black spot on that.
It's a flat spot.
Yeah, flat spot, correct.
Lowe again to right field, and this one will get by Parmalee, and Lowe will have his 3rd double. He's pulled all 3 of them to right field.
Parmalee's going to say, throw it to a different spot, will you? Let him hit it to someone else.
Well, Scotty Alger, what he's going to do next time Lowe comes up, they're going to shade him toward the right field line. Yeah, 3 doubles in 3 at-bats for young David Lowe. It's a 1-out double here against Ryan Presley. For Ryan Presley, he's making his 25th relief appearance. He's done a great job out of that bullpen. The ERA at 2.27.
Giavatello with a pair of RBI singles in his return to the big league club. Ball one. Twins just put 3 up on the board, and they want to keep the Royals at 5 here and let the hitters take some more swings in the bottom of the 6th inning. A little bit low, 2-0.
Kevin Correa worked the first 5 innings. He ended up throwing 90 pitches, only 1 ground ball out. That's unlike Kevin Correa. And that ground ball out got him a double play to end the first inning. Everything else, base hits and then hit in the air.
What is it with the Royals' bottom of the lineup today?
Yeah, they've been doing some damage.
Kane smashed the ball in and out of the glove of Presley for an out. Lowe with a quick double. Now it's 3-0 to Giavatello.
And Bert, to your point, there's been 4 infield hits by the Royals on ground balls, and that's sometimes just pitching in some bad luck. 2 feet one way or another, and those are either double play balls or routine outs.
Gordon hitting next. 3-1 to the number 9 batter. Busted bat, little pop up, short left center field, and that'll drop for a hit. Now throw to second base, and Giavatello hustles his way into a double. The ball overrun by Arcia, and Thomas picked it up. And as Lowe stretched a single into a double in the third, now Giavatello does the same thing.
A pretty nice first game back for Giavatello, who just got called up yesterday. And sometimes the ball just lands in no man's land. You see the bat breaking in his hands.
Well, you just saw the big swing by Giavatello, fooled both of the outfielders, Thomas and Arcia, both breaking back on that ball, and the ball dropping in. And we've seen the outfield grass with all the rain we've had, the ball kind of checks up on you, and Arcia just ran past it.
So a double and another double that doesn't drive in the first double. Infield in, 1-0 to Gordon.
Gordon hitting a sacrifice fly, driving in a run in the third inning. Just 2 hits and 14 at bats so far in this series, and they're going to go ahead and walk him and load the bases.
Escobar's had a tough day at the plate with a couple of strikeouts and a short fly ball. He's also committed an error in the field. They are loaded up now. You have to be impressed with the bottom of this Kansas City lineup and the athleticism, and not conceding singles when there's a double to be had.
You see that big swing by Giavatello, kind of fooling the outfielders, and you see that ball drop in, and I never had that gear that he just shifted it to.
Pretty good day. 7 through 9 hitters, 7 for 9, 4 doubles, 4 RBIs. They've scored 3 runs.
And a tough inning for Ryan Presley. Hardest hit ball maybe was the smash off the bat of Kane that he turned into an out. Lowe hit his drive past Parmalee in right field for a double. A broken bat double, now an intentional walk, and Presley's going to try to get one of those ground balls hit at somebody off the bat of Escobar. Mentioned that Escobar's leading the team in ground ball double plays. He's hit into 10 of them. One of the fastest runners on the team, but he's been in this situation before and not been able to drive in a run a few times.
Well, he struck out the first 2 at bats against Correa, then jumped on the first pitch in his last at bat in the 5th.
Dick, and that stat sometimes can be a little deceiving. They want him to hit that ball on the ground and use his speed, and because of that, you're going to hit into some double plays at times, but they want him to stay above the baseball and drive the ball down and not hit the ball in the air.
Down low to Escobar, ball 1. Presley trying a pitch down below the knees, see if he can get that ground ball. And now a little flare to left, and it'll drop for a hit. Garcia charging. Here's his throw to the plate. And Bauer dug it out, put the tag on, but it's a 2-run single for Escobar, and the Royals are back up by 3.
Tell you what, I was watching Giavatello run from second to home, and boy, he can fly. He got a great read, of course, standing there. You're going to see that ball fell in, but boy, when he took off, his little feet were moving.
Yeah, great job by Rodriguez, the third base coach. As you see this swing, that ball breaking the bat of Escobar, but a great job by the third base coach Rodriguez, seeing Giavatello come around third and ending up waving him just because Giavatello got such a good break off second base. Close play at home, but
you can't make a better throw than Arcia did right there. He played it perfectly, played the one hop, came in, threw it, and I mean, just that was a speed run right there by the Royals.
1 strike to Hosmer, still only 1 out in the inning. 2 strikes. Well, the Royals answered with a couple of quick runs in the 6th.
Giavatello running really well.
See, right there, right off the get-go,
yep.
That's what made it, close play at home, but that's also what made him safe.
The third base coach, as you talked about this throw, good job by Joe trying to let this ball travel and tag him. Giavatello already in, but Giavatello reminds me a lot the way he runs the bases of Darren Mastriani.
Yeah. Foul back by Hosmer. Hosmer bounced into a double play in the first. Presley trying to get him here. He hasn't given up many runs this year, but a couple of runs already for the Royals against the right-hander. Back to Presley, firing to second, and there's the double play. 2 back for the Royals, and the lead has grown back to 3. Presented by McDonald's. Catch a filet of fish extra value meal today. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Toyota. Let's go places. To find the nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Some crooked numbers and a 3-run Royals lead. Go behind the scenes for the 2013 Minnesota Vikings cheerleader calendar shoot. Get to know the 35 ladies making up this year's team. Plus see the entire 2013 calendar. Making of the Viking swimsuit calendar Friday at 9:30 on Fox Sports North. Escobar taking strike one, and then ball one. It's 1-1. He'll be followed by Florimone and Thomas. Twins got to within one, and the Royals respond with 2 more. Scored 7 runs in the last 4 innings against 2 different Twins pitchers.
And Irvin Santana saying thank you very much for making me feel a little more comfortable out there. Starting his 6th inning of work.
1-2.
Santana making his 12th career start against the Twins. 5-3 with a 3.95 ERA coming into this ball game.
2-2. Escobar with a soft line drive to second in the 2nd inning, and then he hit a liner off the glove of Hosmer. Giavotella recovered to throw back to Hosmer for the 3rd out of the 4th. So he's pulled the ball hard twice to the right side, making bids for hits. Nothing to show for it yet. Hot ground ball. Giavotella with a nice pickup. What a play. He made it look easy. Man, is he having a game.
I guess you know why he got called up, right?
Well, he was hitting well down in Omaha, and they're kind of giving Elliott Johnson the opportunity to play second base. But this young man right here, what a first game impression for 2013. He was up the last couple years. But maybe he's here to stay. At least he's playing like he wants to stay here.
Florimone. Strike one. I've been to Omaha. It's a nice town, but Giavotella playing like he never wants to go back there again.
Can't blame him.
I played in Omaha. I don't blame him for not wanting to go back.
I've driven through Omaha.
Somebody got Omaha covered.
1-1 to Florimone. Florimone single to start the 5th. Came in on Thomas's home run.
It's fun to have you up here, Ron. Last 4 ball games we've had a chance to look at that Phantom camera and see what this predicts. I mean, what the flight of the ball off the bat has been incredible. The release of the ball out of the pitcher's hands.
Well, it has been good. It's a great teaching tool, as we've seen this weekend. You see the pitchers and the way they're able to throw through the baseball or release points, and then to me the swings of the bat from the hitting perspective have been great. I just really enjoy being able to see exactly what the hitters do. You look at that, Marcia, and the compression of the baseball that we've seen all week.
Just slows everything down.
Isn't it amazing the reverberation of the bat in the guy's arms and hands as they make contact with the baseball?
You see how much give there is with a wood bat, and so then you wonder about different things, and then no wonder, aluminum bats, and there obviously isn't that give, and the ball's going to come off an aluminum bat much more crisper than it does a wooden bat. 1-1 to Clete Thomas. Chop foul 1-2. The quivering of the wood.
Yeah, the release of what your arm goes through to throw a baseball toward home plate.
2-2 to Clete Thomas, trying to get something started with 2 gone in the 6th.
After seeing that, I'm not pitching in a fantasy camp anymore.
Thomas stays alive.
I don't know if you have the same arm speed as you once did before, buddy.
No, the bat speed's about the same without the Phantom cam in the fantasy camp. It's just slowly going through the strike zone.
I had that discussion the other day with Rick Olson, Yoda. Talking about his bat speed in fantasy camp. Yeah, it's about like that.
3-2 to Thomas with Mauer on deck.
Well, it has been fun being up here with you guys. I appreciate it. This Phantom Cam is something really unique and really neat to show some things about our game.
Full count to Thomas. Foul back, having a long at bat here.
Santana trying to get the final out here. This would mean if he's through the 6th inning, every start that he's had, he's gone at least 6 innings. That is consistency. 5-5 on the year for Santana with a 2.74 ERA coming into this ball game.
Thomas takes a walk, and that'll get Mauer to the plate.
And the 4th walk for Santana in the ball game. That's a season high in walks.
First time Mauer's come to the plate with a man aboard here today. Again, incredibly hitless in this series. Perez will walk to the mound as the Royals start to activate the bullpen now.
Yeah, unlike Shields, I believe, he threw 114 pitches the other day, 122 high. As far as a start, Santana, his high is about 105, 106 in that range. So his day might be coming to an end right now with 99 pitches.
Well, this shows you, he really never seemed like he had great command of his fastball, especially that 2nd, 3rd, 4th inning. But he's still able to get outs and grind through the game. He didn't have his best stuff today, but still pitched very well and effective.
Up and away to Mauer, ball 1.
Well, Joe looking for his first hit in this series. Be a good time for it right here. Maybe chase Santana.
Fouled back, 1-1.
And coming into this game, he was 14 for 30 lifetime against Irvin Santana. That's a .467 batting average. 0 for 3 so far.
On the outside corner, Bauer doesn't agree. 1-2.
102 pitches. Not the strike to ball ratio Santana would like. He'd like about 2 strikes to every ball thrown.
And Mauer strikes out. Santana survives a 2-out walk. Comes off the mound in the 6th. Our thanks to Ron Coomer for all his help in this series.
Thanks, Coom Dog.
Series. The NHL draft is today. Read the latest news on all the wild selections from Brian Hall at FoxSportsNorth.com. Military Appreciation Day here at the ballpark. Ryan Presley hoping for an easier time of it in the 7th inning. Presley gave up a couple of runs. Royals getting a big 2-run single, a broken bat single off the bat of Escobar, and now the middle of the Kansas City lineup starting with Billy Butler. Rays leading the Tigers 3-1, bottom of the 8th. They're in the top of the 9th. Cleveland is threatening to sweep the White Sox in a 4-game series. It's 3-0 Cleveland in the top of the 9th in Chicago.
That holds up right there. Cleveland and Detroit would be tied.
Yes. And the Indians would be 6 games above the 500 mark. The Tigers would have succeeded in coming all the way back to them, meeting them halfway. And then you remember that the Tigers have beaten the Indians the last 5 times they've faced each other. Where would the Indians be if they'd just played better against the Tigers so far this year? 3-1. Hard hit, knocked down by Plouffe. He has time, sets and fires, and still gets Butler by 2 steps. 1 down. I don't see Butler pull the ball that much. I guess when I think of Billy Butler, I think of a guy hitting it to right center and left center.
Well, he had to count in his favor, and that's what he wanted to do, I think, with that fastball, was just drive it hard. I'm sure he wanted to hit it in the air down that left field line, but hit it sharply, and Plouffe made a nice play.
Would you agree with me, or what I tried to assert yesterday or the day before, that people in the National League are excited for the Pirates and their fans because they've been long-suffering fans, and Pirates haven't done much since the early 90s, and the Royals are kind of the American League version of the Pirates?
Yeah, I agree. They've always been, and I think, the doormat, the steppings.
I got stuck on that too. The doormat is a
doormat.
Good term,
yeah. Just didn't sound right, doormat.
Such a proud franchise for so long. And they haven't been back to the playoffs since they won the World Series in '85. Tapper to third. Plouffe throws on the run on target. Perez retired 2 down.
Boy, he made that look easy right there, almost like a flip, but right to Justin at first base. These guys make it look so easy sometimes.
Moustakas, the batter.
Watch this right here. Not hit hard. Of course, Perez doesn't get down that line real quickly, but on the run, right on the mark.
Moustakas 1 for 3, a single and a run scored in the 4th.
I know it's been difficult in Kansas City for the fans, to watch what Dayton Moore has tried to do, but slowly they're getting better and better. A lot of #1 picks for the Royals in this lineup, and the patience that they've had to have over the last 5, 6, 7 years.
When you take over an organization as Dayton Moore did, realistically, you need to allow 4 or 5 years for everything to be put in place, farm system to be reconstructed, necessary trades that would have to be made.
Change managers, coaching staffs.
And then you think back to 1987 when the Twins were just trying to get their feet on the ground with the new regime. Andy MacPhail had just come in. There was a new manager, and Andy MacPhail, Bob Gebhardt, Terry Ryan, they were trying to lay a foundation for something good to happen in the next 4 or 5 years, and bingo, it happened in the first year.
Sometimes miracles happen.
1-2 to Moustakas. Fastball sailing wide. Two and 2 for the Royals' third baseman. Poke to right. Parmalee comes. Well, he didn't have to move at all. Third out of the inning. A 1-2-3-7 for Ryan Presley. And on this special day when we honor America's military, we'll stay here at the ballpark for God Bless America, with the Royals leading the Twins 7-4.
Fans, please rise and welcome Stephen Wold, product developer at Thomson Reuters, as he leads us in the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairie, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Up 7-4. At the Major League at bat, Tim Collins coming into the ball game. He worked here on Friday night, 2/3 of an inning. He walked a batter. The first batter he'll face now is a right-handed hitter, Ryan Doman. Doman hitting .270 as a right-handed hitter. Collins making his 34th relief appearance. Very good bullpen for the Kansas City Royals. Combined 2.76 ERA.
1-1 to Doman. Morneau and Blue full follow. Twins would love to get Arcia, Armely, Escobar, and a few more to bat here in the 7th inning. But again, the Royals bring a left-hander out of the bullpen because of the left-handedness of the Twins. Some switch hitters in the lineup. A called strike on the outside corner. Switch hitters like Doman and Escobar and Florimo. Ball headed up the middle, cut off by Escobar, comes up firing, safe at first, and Doman Still hobbled by that sore left ankle, is able to beat out an infield hit. A great effort again by Alcides Escobar.
Yeah, ball looked like it was going up the middle, but Escobar cut it off, got up as quick as he could, made a good strong throw, but Domet, bad ankle and all, hustling down that line. Well, Domet gets an infield base hit, his first hit of the ball game. And for the Twins, their 6th.
Morneau against the tough lefty Collins. Fouled back. As we've detailed throughout this series. We'll look at Domet getting down there as quickly as he can.
That's the problem. I mean, Domet running right there, but you saw him, jam that ankle into the bag,
Morneau hitting .259 against left-handers, does not have a home run, has 4 extra base hits. Deep to right, very deep to right, gone. Now he's homered against a left-hander.
For Justin, his 4th home run of the year, his 4th hit here at Target Field. And this was a no-doubter right here. A fastball and Justin, a line drive home run. Want to see some compression?
And backspin.
Third home run that Collins has allowed on the season. There's a compression right there.
Back to a 1-run ball game. And Trevor Plouffe. Plouffe taking ball 1. Plouffe, on the other hand, hitting just under .400 against left-handed pitching this year. He takes a ball 2-0. Collins giving up just his 2nd home run this year. Both of them have been against left-handed batters. 3-0. And Arcia is on deck. See if he's green-lighted. And he takes ball 4. So a rough relief outing here for Collins. He gives up an opening base hit. Domet beating that out by an eyelash, setting up Morneau's 2-run home run. And now a 4-pitch walk to Plouffe brings Arcia to the plate.
Yeah, I saw Dave Island, the pitching coach, on the phone to get somebody up in the bullpen, and then he makes the trip out to the mound to allow whoever he called to get up. A little extra time to get loose.
Arcia has reached all 3 times. An RBI single, another single, and a walk. Arcia has actually hit left-handers better than right-handers. Aaron Crow warming up. Fouled away, 1 strike. Time will tell. We're not talking about a full season of sample size at all, but Arcia strikes me as a guy who really doesn't care whether it's a right-hander or a left-hander, whether it's Aaron Crow or Justin Verlander. He's up there to swing the bat. Nub toward third. Moustakas will fire to second, and they'll get the lead runner, and Arcia reaches on a fielder's choice.
Yeah, right off the end of the bat, created a lot of spin. Moustakas fielded it, got the force out at second base.
Parmalee with an RBI double back in the second. 1 for 3. Breaking ball, missing outside ball one. Parmalee hitting just 179 against lefties. Foul back. He got a pitch up and gave it a big swing.
Good swing there by Parmalee.
The 2-run home runs for the Twins, one by Thomas, one by Morneau, and Parmalee tried to add another 2-run home run. And a throw to first. Arcia back to the bag. Two and one. Parmalee has struck out 15 times against lefties with just 2 walks. Trying to produce in a big spot here. 2-2.
A good changeup right there by Collins.
Two and two to Chris Parmalee. Fouled off the end of the bat again. That one almost looked like it was going to try to spin fair.
Another changeup up. Collins in his 3rd season with the Royals out in that bullpen.
Full count with 1 away. And Escobar on deck. Collins doesn't want to walk. Parmalee here to get the tying run into scoring position.
Gardy has a choice. Do you send Arcia or not?
I would guess not. But
I guess not also.
Full count. Arcia a very short lead. And Parmalee takes ball 4. And Collins really upset with himself. The Twins get the tying run now to second with 1 out.
A second walk for Justin Morneau, his 4th home run of the year.
Put him past the legendary Kirby Puck.
208th career home run, moving him past Puck, now 5th on the all-time list.
Josh Willingham's come out onto the on-deck circle to hit for Escobar. Ron Gardenhire figuring, why wait until the 9th inning when there might not be men on base? There are men on base here in the 7th. And he's going to force the Royals to make a pitching change with the tying run at second and 1 away.
Aaron Crow is loosening up in the bullpen. He will be coming in.
Tim Collins faced 5 men and retired just 1. Willingham will take his swings against Crow when we come back. Willingham not used as a pinch hitter very often, just his third appearance of the year, but he comes up with the tying run at second and one away. Our century link to what's next. The Twins slugger with 3 pinch hit home runs, hoping to make it 4 against Aaron Crow.
Aaron Crow worked here on Friday night, 2/3 of an inning, retired to 2 batters he was asked to get in the 8th inning, making his 30th relief appearance.
Willingham pounds the first pitch foul, 1 strike. Willingham still bothered by a sore left knee. Home run would be nice. Single to the outfield should tie the game. A drive to left field. Chased by Gordon. He won't get there. Scoring is Arcia. Parmalee will be held at third. A ground rule double for Willingham. The Twins have tied it up here in the 7th.
On the second pitch, Crow challenged him with that fastball, and Willingham hitting it sharply over the head of Crow. Ryan Dozier will pinch run for him at second base. Good swing right there by Willingham.
You don't see many ground rule doubles to left field. And so now the Royals in a tie game have to bring the infield in for Florimone. Florimone has struck out twice, singled and scored. Swing and a miss, and Perez caught the ball awkwardly. I don't think that ball was foul. He just caught the ball funny. The Twins striking for 3 here in the 7th against the Royal bullpen. Wicked foul into the camera well. Wow. 2 strikes to Florimone. Now he's got to bear down and try to put the ball in play.
Florimone faced Crow here on Friday night, hit a ground ball to Hosmer at first base. Hosmer in like to hit it by him.
0-2. Inside.
Good take right there.
As a right-handed batter on Thursday, Florimone was able to deliver a big sacrifice fly. Gave the Twins an insurance run. He'd love to do that here from the left side. 2-2. Irvin Santana got plenty of run support, but now the bullpen has failed him. 2-2. Struck him out. 2 down.
He went underneath that swing of Florimone and picks up a strikeout.
And now Thomas.
Looked like that tight slider that he has. Hard slider straight down.
Infield back at normal depth. Thomas trying to put the Twins in front. Strike at the knees. Strike on the outside corner. In the 5th inning, Thomas started this Twins comeback with a 2-run home run. Twins were down 5-1 at the time. Now trying to put them in front. Squibb, ball kicking to Escobar, and he fires to Hosmer. The Twins with 3, leaving 2 aboard, but it's a tie game. Tied at 7 after 7. For Kansas City, doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, it really is. They scored a lot of the runs, a lot of extra base hits. But for the Twins, Fleet Thomas got the offense going in the 5th inning with a 2-run home run. Just saw Justin Morneau hit his 4th home run of the year. That made it 7-6. And then the Twins, off the bat of Josh Willingham's ground rule double, tied it at 7 apiece.
So Morneau's home run, helping the Twins get 3 to tie it up. We go to the 8th inning. And Jared Burton will come in and try to quiet the bottom third of the Royal batting order. Willingham with a big pinch hit double.
Now the Royals have 10 hits in a ball game, 7 of them coming from their 7, 8, and 9 hitter. For Burton, his 36th relief appearance. He worked here on Thursday night, 1 shutout inning in the Twins' 3-1 win.
Kane, Lowe, Giavatello have combined for 7 hits. Brian Dozier staying in the game, taking over at second base. Pinch ran for Willingham, who pinch hit for Escobar. Strike 1. Kane with an infield hit. Short fly ball to center, and then he hit a line drive off the glove of Presley, and Presley threw him out. On the line, but foul. 2 strikes to Kane.
One thing I've seen in this 4-game series, they are really busting Kane inside every at-bat. He seems like he's got to open up to try to get some good wood on the ball.
Kane strikes out on 3 pitches.
And they went away, and Burton picking up a strikeout for the first out here in the top of the 8th inning. So after going inside a couple times, Burton shaves the corner down and away.
So Burton gets the first man, and now David Lowe. Chris Parmalee playing where he has been playing Lowe, but Lowe has still found room 3 times in right field for doubles in today's game. One of these 2 teams is going to pick up another game on the Detroit Tigers. The Rays beat Detroit 3-1. And somebody's going to pick up another game on last place Chicago. They were shut out by the Indians 4-0. Not again. Deep to right. This one might not come back. A home run. David Lowe has pulled the ball 4 times to right field for 4 extra base hits.
Well, you fight back, and then a ball left up right there by Burton, and the Royals come back and take an 8-7 lead. What a day for David Lowe. 3 doubles, then got a pitch up, hits his 2nd home run of the year.
Just the 3rd allowed by Burton this season. That'll bring up Giavatello. Strike 1. Giavatello with 3 hits, 2 runs batted in, a run scored. Two strikes.
I guess on the day that they let Jeff Francoeur go, designate him for assignment.
Who?
David Lowe says, thank you very much. You know what? I'll show you a little reward for doing that. I want to play every day.
Check swing. Did he go? Nope. Well, the Twins have tried to come back all afternoon long. Have to try one more time. They got it even at 7, but every time the Twins have put together a run, the Royals have responded in the next half inning. Bounce to the right side. Dozier has it. Now Morneau has it. 2 down.
Well, he just made a mistake right there. Ball left right there, belt high, and Lowe didn't miss it. A line drive home run.
see where Mauer's target was, down and away.
Yeah, Lowe has scored 4 runs. He has 4 hits, and he's knocked in 3. Not a bad day at the plate.
Alex Gordon, 0 for 1, 2 walks, one of them intentional, and a sacrifice fly. Inside, 1-1. By designating Francoeur for assignment and calling up Giavatello, the Royals extending their youth movement in 2 different spots, in right field and second base, and both Lowe and Giavatello had quite an impact in this game today. 2-1 to Gordon. 3-1. Escobar on deck. Way out in front of the changeup. 3-2.
Quite a day for that young man right there, David Lowe.
And ball 4. Gordon will take a 2-out walk. Well, it's the ultimate vote of confidence for a young player like David Lowe. Royals cutting free a veteran player whom they're paying millions of dollars to, expressly to give him more playing time, and then he jumps into the lineup and bangs out 4 extra base hits.
Well, again, 6 years in the minor leagues for Lowe, you know, and he just kept battling, waiting for that opportunity, and just having one of those days that everything goes right. Started the season in the minors this year, called up in the middle of May.
Escobar the batter. Gordon goes, and the pitch taken for a strike, and Gordon steals without a throw.
Yeah, Burton's someone that clubs can run on because of that high leg kick. And again, the Royals like to run. That's their 62nd stolen base of the year. And for Gordon, his 4th in 5 attempts.
The home run by Lowe has put them in front, but it's been their aggressive base running that has really been the biggest factor in the ball game here today.
They turn singles into doubles.
And now a walk, and on the very next pitch, Gordon steals second easily. A line drive caught by Dozier. That's a big 3rd out. Joe Mauer still looking for his first hit of the series, and he'll lead off the bottom of the 8th.
the lead in the top half of the 8th. Now the Twins will try to rally here in the bottom half. Be sure to stick with us after the game for Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink, as we take a look at this fight to the finish between the Twins and Royals. We'll also take a look at the best of Phantom Cam. This series has been incredible with slow motion cameras. We'll take a look at that and, of course, hear from manager Ron Gardenhire after the game. Dick and Bert.
All right, thank you very much, Jamie. Joe Mauer leading things off in the 8th, taking up and away. Crow gave up the RBI double to Willingham and then got 2 big outs to keep the game tied at 7. Now he's pitching with a 1-run lead to Mauer. Strike. How odd is it? Refresh my memory. How many ground rule doubles have you seen in this ballpark? Now, we've seen him go to the left field corner and kick over the sidewalk.
Right.
But the ball hit the warning track. Willingham's double. Elliott Johnson in at second base. Popped up short left. And Gordon comes in to make the catch. Mauer still without a hit. 0 for 5 today. 1 down. Let's get caught up.
Well, the Twins took an early 1-0 lead in the second inning, but the Royals, bottom of the order, what a day they have had combined. 8 for 12, 5 extra base hits, 4 of them off the bat of David Lowe. Justin Morneau with a 2-run home run. Cleet Thomas with a 2-run home run. But the Twins, there's that big double right there, but that hit on the track and bounced straight up. A lot of times they're hoping that that would hit, off the top of the wall and come back into play. May have allowed Parmalee to score.
Strike 1 to Doman. Doman has reached the last 3 times with a walk on an error and a single. An infield hit that triggered the 3-run 7th inning. 1-1. Since this seems to be a day of unlikely home runs, it's been a while since Doman has hit one. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, Doman's last home run coming on June 6th on the road in Kansas City against Wade Davis.
Popped up left field. Easy play again for Gordon, who actually has to come in and catch it in front of Moustakas and Escobar. 2 quick outs in the 8th. That'll bring up Morneau. Morneau with the 2-run home run against Tim Collins that brought the Twins to within 1. A couple walks later, Willingham double. Hitting .500 in this series. And a lot of extra base damage done by the Twins' first baseman. Josh Renicky warming up. If the Twins don't tie it up, if they do, I suspect Glenn Perkins will pitch. 1-1. Two and 1. Morneau trying to extend the 8th inning to allow Trevor Plouffe to hit.
And every pitch from Crow here in this at bat, all 3 pitches have been away. Outer half of the plate.
Down the right field line near the pole, but foul. He cracked his bat and nearly hit a home run.
Yeah, that breaking ball stayed up, and Justin got a little out front.
2-2. Finally got something in the inner half to drive, and he just hooked it.
Well, that foul ball right there went to a young lady with a Justin Morneau jersey. Take a look at the swing, just a bit out front. See the bat breaking.
Bet there's somebody in the right field bleachers with a Morneau jersey. Breaking pitch down and in, and Perez throws to first, and the Twins go down 1-2-3 in the 8th. 8-7, the Royals in front. We go to the 9th inning. And this weekend we ask you, will Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hit streak ever be broken on our AT&T Twitter poll? And overwhelmingly, you don't think so. Michael Kadire hoping to prove the 13% correct. Eric Hosmer will lead off the 9th for Kansas City against Josh Renicky.
Yeah, Josh Renicky worked here on Friday night, 1 shutout inning.
Driven to deep left field. And that ball is gone. A home run for Hosmer to the opposite field. First Burton with a rare home run allowed. And now Hosmer on Renicky's first pitch.
Oh, Hosmer, who had grounded into a couple double plays earlier in the ball game, didn't waste any time. The 5th home run that Renicky has allowed on the year. Jumping on that fastball, taking it the other way, that uppercut swing. And it's a 9-7 ball game.
Now Butler takes ball 1. A strike on the outside corner. Royals have been held. Well, they've scored more innings than they haven't. How about that? 2 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, 2 in the 6th, 1 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th. And it can still be a demoralizing loss for the Royals, but now it's going to take 3 more runs by the Twins to tag them with a loss. They just tied the game up at 7. And the Royals, the worst home run hitting team in the major leagues, you get a pair of solo home runs late to lead by 2. Fouled back. Still 1-2.
The Royals have hit 7 home runs in this series. One here on Thursday, 4 on Friday, and 2 so far here in this ball game.
1-2. Very high 2-2. Poke foul. Yankees play tonight, and then they'll come to Minnesota to open up a 4-game series tomorrow night.
Scott Diamond pitching for the Twins.
Andy Pettit for the Yankees. 3-2. Fouled back. Butler with another foul ball. Well, unless the Twins bat around again, this is going to be almost an historic series for Joe Mauer to go hitless in a 4-game series. I'd have more likely believed he'd have had 7 or 8 hits in the series than he could completely shut out in the hit department.
Well, especially against the Royals, who he came in hitting about 350 in his career.
Butler, sharp ground ball up the middle and a base hit.
Butler gets his 2nd hit of the ball game.
Neither bullpen has been very efficient in this game. Twins got 3 runs against the Royals bullpen, and now the Royals have scored 4 times against the Twins bullpen. Still nobody out here in the 9th. Salvador Perez hitless in the ball game. Royals out hitting the Twins 13-8. Have left 9 runners on. Royals 6. Strike on the outside corner. Twins need to come back if they want to have a winning record in the month of June. Right now 13 and 12.
Yeah, Dyson pinch running for Butler at first base. Speedy Dyson with 10 stolen bases in 11 attempts.
Runner goes. Mauer's throw. Got him. Perfect throw. Mauer, who's had a frustrating series at the plate. One of the rare arms that can throw out Gerard Dyson. He just did.
Yeah, Dyson, I mean, he got a great jump right here. But Joe's throw right on the bag. Dozier putting down the tag. See, cupping that ball right there, keeping the ball in the glove, and tagging out Dyson.
Popped up near second base. Florimone shielding his eyes and making the catch out number 2. Florimone never wears sunglasses. He makes the catch even with the bright sun shining right in his eyes. 2 down. Twins will, in the bottom of the ninth, send up Plouffe, Arcia, and Parmelee. And Dozier and Florimone, however many they need to send up to score a couple of runs. At least that's the hope. Moustakas. Have
baseball out by the bullpen.
Thomas flips it back into the crowd. Tapper right side. And Morneau to the bag. Another solo home run for the Royals. This one by Eric Hosmer. The Twins trail by 2. Endings are imposed and inflicted. Struck him out. Got him. Breaking ball got him. How about the Twins bullpen? Finishes are earned and celebrated. A high fly to center field. This to the wall and lands on the warning track. Carroll scores. Dozier being waved around. And the Twins win it on a double by Eduardo Escobar. It's the last word. The closing act. The final step, the whole point. We don't remember the start. We never forget the finish. A drive to right center, to the gap. Escobar scores. Mauer coming around. Play at the plate, not in time. And Domick delivers the game winner. Twins hoping something similar will evolve here in the bottom of the ninth. Trevor Plouffe leading things off against the best closer you've probably never heard of.
Craig Holland looking for his 17th save and 19 save opportunities. Very good 1.86 earned run average for Holland.
One strike to Plouffe, and now a check swing 1-1. You play in Kansas City, you play in relative obscurity anyway, but Holland's numbers are overwhelmingly good. Doesn't give up many hits, doesn't walk many, has given up just one home run this year. Breaking ball off the plate, 2-1.
47 strikeouts in 29 innings pitched.
A year ago, the Royals had Jonathan Broxton closing games for them. They handed the closer duties to this guy. He looks like he's going to hang on to it for a while. Plouffe blasts one to center field. Kane back. Gone, a home run. Just the second allowed by Holland this year.
That's the way to keep a hitting streak alive, too. Plouffe with his 7th home run of the year. Caught up to that fastball. Hit it straight away to the deepest part of the field at 411 here at Target Field. Kane went back and ran out of room.
Now Arcia in a one-run game. Fouling it back. .44 more to go. One strike to Arcia. Tap foul. 2 strikes. Arcia with a pair of hits, a walk. He reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 7th.
Holland with an overpowering fastball, curveball, and then that split finger. That's his strikeout pitch.
Got him with an off-speed pitch. 1 down. That'll bring up Parmalee.
Well, that split finger starts low and then dips straight down.
Parmalee with an RBI double his first time up. Since then, 0 for 2 with a walk. Over for a strike.
Well, last time, Dome had hit that 2-run triple. That was June 1st with that walk-off victory. And that was on June 1st. Here it is June 30th. Be a good way to end the month of June. If the Twins can come back.
Nice bookend to what would be a winning month. 2 strikes to Parmalee. In the dirt, smothered by Perez for what seems like the 12th time in this series. Perez throws to first to complete a strikeout.
Well, that nasty splitter right there is just like he struck out Arcia. He does the same thing to Parmalee. Gets ahead in the count with a fastball or the breaking ball, and then here comes almost like Uncle Charlie.
Dozier, last hope for the Twins now.
Dozier's first at bat. He pinch ran for Willingham in the 7th inning.
Swing and a miss. Plouffe's home run may have proven to be a wake-up call for Holland. He's been nasty.
96-mile-an-hour fastball for strike 1.
Hosmer's home run, top of this inning, now the difference in the game. Down the line, but foul. Dozier's got 1 strike left. As do the Twins. 2 strikes to Dozier. Got him. And the Royals get a split in this 4-game series. An impressive game for Kansas City because they responded after some impressive comebacks by the Twins.
I think we saw excellent hustle by the Royals here today. Turning singles into doubles, and then later in the ball game hitting for power. Good ball game.
Twins end up splitting a 4-game series with the Royals and Tom Hanneman. The Twins with some comebacks, but came up, as it turns out, 1 run short.
Dick, an endless number of comebacks for both teams this afternoon as Kansas City gains that split. Coming up on Twins Live, we'll look at it all. The best of tandem cam from this series, and we'll hear from Ron Gardenhire, Twins manager, next on Twins Live.